a important time in our world, in our lives, that we need to take charge of what we're saying, how we're saying it, and who's listening to it. That's us. So I'm talking today about speaking with authority, because I think everybody here has more authority than we think that we have. And I think it's our job to become aware of it and actually claim that authority in our lives. Because ultimately, what you say about yourself becomes true. What you say about your life becomes true. Because that's the way the universe is constructed. That there's a law of mind in action. And that what you put into that law, what you say about yourself and your life, becomes true. And how often have we or other people we know said, oh, I'm not enough. I'm not lovable. I'm not talented enough. I'm too fat. I'm too stupid. I'm too this. I'm too that. And I got to tell you, when I hear that, I just want to go to that place and say, shut up. Shut up. Stop it now. You are disrespecting yourself, and you are disrespecting yourself as a unique expression of God that you are. This is not serving you, honey. You're never going to get any better. You're never going to be any more because of that kind of language that you're telling yourself, that what you're speaking to yourself. You're actually using this incredible power, this spiritual authority that you have in your life, and you're using it against yourself. It says in Genesis that God gave Adam and Eve, and metaphysically that's each and every one of us. That means all of us. God gave Adam and Eve, all of us, dominion in the garden. And so much of the time, we act like we don't have that dominion. We act like we never heard of any dominion. And I believe that we really do have it. And I wonder for us, though, if we're pretending like we don't have dominion because it's easier to not have it in this life experience. And we're supposed to. We're supposed to be having it. That idea of dominion didn't just fall through the cracks. It's not like God was up there sleeping on his throne saying, oh my God, they got dominion. How did that happen? We're supposed to have it. And so I wonder for us, what effort do we put into our own life journey? What effort? Because sometimes it seems like we don't put any effort into it at all. And then we wonder why we don't get much out of it, you know? We teach in the science of mind that everything that you do, everything that I do, everything that we do has the imprint of our consciousness on it. Everything that we do in life carries the consciousness with it. The consciousness that we are is in everything that we do. Every person that we meet, everyone that we touch, everything that our mind lights on. And I wonder for us then, how will our journey unfold? And I think one of the ways that we can and will contribute to the way that our journey unfolds, we will intelligently speak with authority. That dominion, will speak with authority, that dominion that we have been given over our life. See, every one of us is pure spirit. Pure spirit is in each and every one of us. And God really, really is all there is. Now, the good news is that we're evolving. We are the most awake, we are the most aware, we are most intelligent. And it's hard to believe sometimes when we look at the world around us, we are the most loving that we have ever been right now. Really, that's true. We are. And there's no resistance to our word in the universe. The universe does not resist us. There's none, zip. The universe just says yes. That's why we want to pay attention to speak with some authority about who we truly are. In the Old Testament, Moses, from his birth, was just a regular human person, just like all of us. And he responded to situations just like we might. until he had this experience up on the mountain where he was filled with light. And he actually had this transfigured experience. He received illumination. And he realizes then that there is something within him. And that something is that God that he has been hearing about. It's right where he is. And he calls it I. Now there was a transition in consciousness at that point. From God and me to God as me. God in me, as me, is me. That I am that. And that knowledge made him different. And he went on to do what he came here to do. As I like to say at the end of every talk, he came and he started living the life he came here to live. So I wonder if we spoke with authority and we had that same knowledge, if we would really, really do what we really came here to do. If we would start living the life we came here to live. Not that other stuff, all that stuff that we make up that takes up awful lot of our time. Not the other stuff that we say I have to do before I really do what I came here to do. See, his life was about doing what he came here to do. He went from being a shepherd to being a leader of his people. And how could he do such a great thing? Because he knew that there was a power and a presence within him, and he understood that this was I. The Spirit of God touched him. The Spirit of infinite intelligence touched him. Just like the Spirit of God touches a lot of people. We can look at many of the great leaders in the Old Testament. We can look at King Solomon. We can look at Isaiah and Elisha. And their development from the moment that the Spirit of God touched them is that they are spiritually led. Imagine we could be spiritually led every day, every moment of our journey. We could know that there was always this power, this presence, this love, this intelligence that's accompanying us everywhere we go. It's with us always. It can't be separate from us. I think it's spiritually empowering to know that I of my own self can do nothing. Because sometimes I have a tendency to think that with a cape and a nice tiara I could save the world. But I of myself can do nothing. But there is a presence that we call Father, Mother, God, divine intelligence, divine mind, whatever. But whatever we call it, it's within us, and that's what really does the work, if we will let it. So how do we let it? Well, the fact is that we're just instruments. We're just instruments. We're transparencies for God's expression into the world. So I like to remember that God and I are one. In fact, my favorite affirmation in the morning is the Father and I are one. I must say that probably 100 times every morning. And God within is greater than just me humanly. In Science of Mind, we're really concerned with the metaphysical teaching. We want people to understand that there is a law of mind, which, if we learn to work with it intelligently, this will help us to evolve our life. We will grow our life. You can become more functional in the world and more healthy in the world. Now, that's not all that we teach, however, because Science of Mind is also a preparation for a mystical consciousness. And what I mean by that is that this teaching will help you prepare to live your life from a place of absolute knowing that I am one with God. And when we do that, when we live our life from that place, well, I believe that we can really speak with incredible authority. This is what Krishna and Moses and the Buddha and Jesus and all the great masters have done. They've said yes to life, yes to God, yes to Spirit. They've said yes in an extraordinary way. And now, they were basic, ordinary people to begin with. But they said yes in a fabulous, extraordinary way. Now, we all know people in our life today who say yes in an extraordinary way. We know people who just keep saying life in fabulous ways. And I think it's really interesting because sometimes we look at those people and we say, well, why does it work so well for them? I know who they are, and they're kind of crappy people. They're not very nice. But they always seem to have love in their life, and they always seem to have a lot of money, and they always seem to be going someplace fabulous and coming back from someplace just wonderful. And things always work well for them. I don't think God's paying attention because I know who they are, and they are not nice people. Well, honey, it has nothing to do with your moral judgment of them. Isn't that incredible? And in fact, the truth be told, that's part of what's holding you back. It's clearly not affecting them in any way, shape, or form. See, ordinary people who say yes to God in an extraordinary way, they speak about their lives and they believe in themselves in extraordinary ways. They believe that they have great love, and they believe that that's available to them. And the universe says yes. They believe that they can be abundant and prosperous in all areas of their life. The universe says yes. And they believe that they can have wonderful, creative, fulfilling lives. The universe says yes. Like them, we can learn to work with the law. We can learn to be effective with spiritual law. And then what happens as we do that? The progression is that we rise above spiritual law to a place, we rise above to a place where we just live knowing that we're one with the infinite intelligence. We're one with God. There are always things working for our good. Just imagine that if the fears and the doubts and the lacks of the world had no effect on us, none, what would our life be like? What would take up our time? What would take up our mental energy? What would we put ourselves into? What would we say? And then when we get to that place, it becomes not just about you, not just about me, not just about us. If you get to this place, it's not really for you anymore. Because after you know the truth about yourself, it's the most natural progression to know the truth about other people. And to know it for them. And you become an instrument then that lifts other people, that lifts the world. You become an instrument that's always lifting. As Emma Curtis Hopkins says in her writings, we become the redeemers of humankind. So speaking with authority, I think, is to bring forth the kingdom of God right here on earth in our lifetime, right here, right now. So if you're sitting there and thinking that the kingdom of God is a later kind of thing, sort of a down the road kind of thing, like after you die, kingdom of heaven, no. I have this feeling that you're going to be gravely disappointed because we teach in the science of mind that heaven is right here, right now. It's a state of consciousness, a state of awareness, a knowingness that love within us, our love with other people, our love with God is right here, right now. And we could miss it if we think it's going to be later. If we think it's down the road, we could just completely miss the fabulousness of heaven on earth right now. There's only one healing agency. It's God, it's spirit, it's life, it's truth, whatever you choose to call it. And what if, and I believe this is so, and this is why I ask, what if every problem could be solved? What if every problem that we have and the planet has could be solved if we begin by recognizing who and what walks with us every step of the way. Who walks with us is what Moses recognized up on the mountain. It's that presence of the eye. It's the presence of God. It's the presence of divine mind, divine intelligence, spirit, again, whatever you choose to call it. Now, I know that we talk to ourselves all day long. Everybody does, from the time that we get up in the morning till the time we go to bed. We have a committee going on in our head. You know? When I was in the psychological field and doing counseling, and we would probably commit all of those people, but it's true. Everybody has a committee going on in their head all day long. And they have lots to say, that committee. They have lots of feedback, lots of chatter, input, you know? Lots of criticism, you know, with every single move that we have. This morning they were talking to me. Should I have that toast? Oh, you shouldn't have that toast. That's carbohydrate. You shouldn't have the toast. It's fattening. What? I want the toast. No, you can't have the toast. Toast is fattening. No, don't have the toast. I'm going to have the toast. So I had the toast. Well, I told you you shouldn't have the toast. Now you're going to feel terrible all day long. You know, you're not supposed to eat toast, you know. Blah, 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 blah. We talk to ourselves all day long. And some experts tell us that we have 60,000 thoughts a day. I think that's just amazing. 60,000 thoughts a day. And in my opinion, 59,500 of them or more are yesterday's thoughts. There's not a lot of new thinking going on there. There's not a lot of improved thoughts going on. There's not a lot of thoughts that we're speaking with authority. And then we wonder why things don't get better. Because we're not having a new day. We're just having another day. The same old cowpath day. We're just repeating and rehashing and repeating. We're not speakers of the word with authority. We're just repeaters of some stuff that just sort of floated into our minds. Shouldn't say this, but we're the Sarah Palins of the world. We don't think, we just speak. You know, what occurs to me again and again and again is that just because we have a thought, it doesn't mean that it's worthy of us. It doesn't mean that it's worthy of us as children of God, as expressions of the infinite. Well, I just have these thoughts. Don't. Don't. You may say, well, where do I start? Pick anything. Truly, it does not matter. Just pick something and start to think differently about it. Because we're talking to ourselves all day long. And so here's something, if you want something to start with, here's something we could be speaking to ourselves with authority. That I'm a spiritual being, that I'm made in the image and the likeness of God. And anything that is not true about God is not true about me. How about that? We could start there. If we want to be really well in our body, we could begin with our word. We can build that. If we want to be well and healthy in relationships, we build that with our word. If we want to be abundant and prosperous in our creative expression, we begin to build that with our word. Because with this spiritual authority that we've all been given, what we're naturally going to do is we're going to deny the appearance of whatever is contrary to our natural good. And what we hold in consciousness will be manifested for us. So therefore, we don't want to be holding a thought of anything that we don't want to see manifest in our outer life. And the way that we check in with this is simply by asking ourselves the question, is what I'm thinking right now what I want to have come forward in my life? Maybe not. Is what I'm thinking right now what I want to have come forward in my life? Is the message that I'm giving myself and the message that I'm giving the universe the way I want my life to be? And when you start to realize that you're speaking with authority, it really makes you look and think. And it makes you start to think and say, maybe I better not say that, at least nearly as much. Because my life will never be more. I'm never going to be healed. I'm never going to be bigger. I'm never going to be better if I keep going in this direction. Everybody who accomplishes great things in life sees it first in their mind. They want to see first in their mind what they want to accomplish. Because in God, there's no big or small. And so if you have unlimited confidence in your ability, you will accomplish it as well. And you may say, well, I don't know if I have confidence in my ability. Well, here's the good news. It's not really just your ability. It's the ability of spirit within you that can do all things. With God, all things are possible. It's not just your ability. See, I think we can speak with authority, certainly some degree of authority, because we have faith. I have faith in the possibility of things not seen. I have faith in the possibility of things that I have not seen yet. I try and remember that every day. We cannot fill ourselves with weak and sick and depressing thoughts and think that we're going to have an experience that's any different from that. We have to speak for ourselves and speak out into the world that words of strength and abundance and love and prosperity and health. We need to speak that loud out into the universe and keep at it, not just once or a halfway thought while you're going to the toilet or something. We have to keep at it all the time. See, because the truth is, God cannot be blocked, stopped, or hindered in any way, but we certainly can sort of throw some things out in the path and block our road and make things a little more difficult for ourselves. Now, I realize that it's a very natural human tendency we love to look at the way things have been in the past, don't we? It kind of reminds me of the story of Lot's wife in the Old Testament. They were told to go forward. Lot and his wife and his children, and they were going to be saved, and they were going to be spared from the devastation that was going to overtake their city, and they were going to have an opportunity to start brand new. The only rule was definitely do not look back. Do not look back. And we all know for ourselves that when we drive a car, we do not drive the car looking in the rearview mirror. So I wonder why, when we want our life to go forward, we spend so much time looking backward and looking back and looking back. Lot's wife, of course, just couldn't go forward. She never got beyond the past. She just had to look back at her past one more time. It was amazing to me. It was like, why do we look back? It's like, don't we know what it was? You know, move forward. And because she looked back, she became a salt lick for a deer. If we want to have a peaceful, harmonious expression, say in our homes, for example, we have to establish that in ourselves first. See, it's a law of spirit that you have to first be what we want to draw to us. And I think this is important, so I'm going to say it again. It's the law of spirit that we have to first be what we want to draw to us. People often ask me about relationships. Will you treat for me for a relationship? And do you think God has somebody for me? And I always do this little exercise with them. I say, write down 20 things that you're looking for in a partner. List 20 qualities that are really important for this perfect person in your life, that are really important to you. Okay, good. Now narrow it down to 10. And now pick the top 5. And then place them in the order of importance. Because you've got to be clear with the infinite. Clarity is power. Clear about what you want in that relationship. Got those 5 things written down? Yes, 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 yes. Now am I going to find this person? Well, let me tell you. Are you any of those 5 things that you're looking for? Well, this is my list about them. Yes, I understand, but there's a law of spirit. that we have to be. We have to be what we want to draw to us. So you've got down on your list somebody who's unconditionally loving. That's on your list. How's that working in your life? Is that working for you? You have somebody who's a good listener. Are you a good listener? You have somebody who's responsible financially. Are you financially responsible? You get where this is going, don't you? Bottom line is, we want love, we have to be more loving. We have to be more kind, we have to be more compassionate. We have to be gentle in the world because it's established in us first, as everything is. And also, because we get to speak with authority, we want to not allow things that are outside of us to disturb us to the point that we don't have peace and well-being in our mind, or feel like we have dominion in our life. Dr. Holmes teaches us that if we keep refusing to see negatives, they will disappear. In Science of Mind, we say all the time that spiritual healing depends on faith. And there cannot be faith where there is a mind holding the thoughts that are directly opposed to the possibility of healing, to the possibility of love, to the possibility of growth and expression and expansion. It's therefore necessary that we have a little dominion in our life, that we speak with authority and dwell on the power and the love of God that's within us, so that can be established in our world of experience. And isn't that what we want to do so we can start living the life we came here to live?
Yes.
And so it is.